Hello again, and again, another update on the Squier Infinity Jazz Bass. So, fingerboard should look a little bit more darker because I gave it a good saturation of the Burt's beeswax. And also at the same time, I did actually give it a... Let me be a little bit more clear about that. Initially, I started working on the issue with the fret here. Again, like I said, on the E and A strings on the 11th fret. Sorry, I just ate. So, initially, I was working on this fret in front of the 12th. And so I started knocking it down yesterday, and I just found that I couldn't get it down properly, and I didn't want to risk over removing material, which is a big issue when you do fret leveling. You always want to err on the side of leaving material to be slowly removed with a finer grit rather than a grittier grit of sandpaper. Like when you get down to the point when there's a fine little bit of metal, you want to move to like 320, 400, 600, especially like when you start getting closer to your goal. So I was saying to myself, I have a little bit of money left. I'm like, let me go searching around on Amazon to see what I can find. I managed to couldn't find a 9.5 inch radius that would come in time. So I went the next best thing, which was 10 inch radius. So I had initially started out only wanting to fix the 2 fret points here. And what I come to find out later is once I started moving the fret rocker around checking, I started noticing there was more little bits. So I was like, okay, this is going from a simple level 1 single fret to now it looks like multiple frets. So I got the 10 inch raised block. I threw on a 600 grit pad, put a red marker across all tops of the frets, and I just kept fret leveling it until there was no fret rocking whatsoever over the frets. So it is a 9.5 inch radius fingerboard with a 10 inch radius fret, but at the same time there is still tons of fret there that actually going from the 9.5 inch radius to the 10 inch radius wasn't a bad thing. So I did that, re-crowned them, gave them a swipe back and forth, as I've seen from various other techniques shown by various other people on YouTube, and these are the original strings that came that came with the guitar. I have not moved to the sit strings yet. So again, the problem issues So, all fixed. The Laurel actually really came out really nice with the Burt's Beeswax soaked into it. Definitely Laurel seems to dry, and definitely can use some conditioning when you get it. And it's kind of came out pretty dark. Now, one thing I'll note, when I actually was working on this and I took the strings off, I did find something else that is kind of a issue. Now, I don't know if you will be able to see it or if I'll be able to show it, but the nuts, or the nut, if you actually happen to look, there's actually little bits of plastic that are going underneath the string and coming from the back of the nut. And so, like, that was kind of a little bit concerning, but I mean, doesn't seem to be any issues playing on the top frets, so here nor there. Will a new nut have to be put onto it in the future? Not really, because it's functional and it doesn't impede the playing whatsoever. Since I did the work on it, I am back. I played again another 30 minutes to make sure there wasn't any weird fret things. Made sure the neck was set properly. The only thing that I haven't done to this yet, besides putting the new SIT strings on it, is I haven't checked the intonation, and that's something I normally do. So that'll be something that I will do. Probably before I kind of do a pre-demo with the stock strings on it. I do have a quartz tuner that I use to actually set up the intonation better than a snark, because I don't think a snark is accurate enough to see if a fret saddle, a bridge saddle is too sharp or not sharp enough. So with that said, that's the update, and so far, it's nice. It's not, I'll say there's one advantage to this. It's not, probably as some others have noted, this is not as thick as, say, most standard basses, but it still has an acceptable heft to it without being too heavy like I've noticed with some of the basses I've had in the past. So, now with that said, there's my current update on the guitar so far. Next video, I will probably attempt to do a little bit of sound sampling through the Fender Rumble 100. Take care, folks, and bye for now.